Good morning. This is actually Tuesday. That normally I do this on Monday, but yesterday I had some meetings, and so it was a crazy busy day, and so I am doing it today, Tuesday. But one of the charts that I would like to discuss as we get started here was yesterday. That you can see that it was a wild day. You can see the Dow here gapped down and then dropped and dropped and dropped. It was down, I can't even tell here, I don't know, 700 points, and then rose a little bit, went flat, pulled back a little bit, flat, flat, and the end of the day rose up and up and up until it was up 231 points. Wild day as far as activity, and of course much of this had to do with the conflict in the Middle East. It looks like maybe things might be going to work out. At least it's in the talking stages. So here the NASDAQ looks the same. Pulled back, rose. Here it went positive just a smidge. Dropped, sat on the zero line, and then end of the day rose up to be up 1.3%. S&P down lower, rose just under the zero line, dropped, and then rose. And the Russell, big drop, rose a little bit, and just really, the last half hour of the day rose and went positive. And the NASDAQ was up the highest percent, Russell second highest, and then the S&P, and then the Dow. So that was a crazy trading day. And unless a person is day trading, where maybe they would have gotten into a trade when it dropped and then dropped more and gotten into a put trade, maybe could have gotten into a call here and rose and then the back and forth, and then maybe got into a call right at the end of the day and then closed at the end of the day. Those are profitable trades. They are trades that people can do if they have nothing to do but sit and watch 2-minute charts, 3-minute charts, 5-minute charts, and day trade. Otherwise, this volatility is really challenging as far as longer term trades, because you can be in a trade and have it fall and hit your mark where you say, oh, it's down, whatever percent, it needs to be closed. And then the next thing you know, it turns around and rises. So it has been a challenging period. So let's look and see what's happened today. So the market, as we discussed, was up at the end of the day. And look, so it was down here on open, rose, went positive for a minute, and now is down further than what the open was, down 140 points. The NASDAQ is up a little. It was up higher, touched the zero line, back and forth, and now is rising just a little bit. S&P still negative. Open down, drop lower, and now has improved just a a little bit. And the Russell, pretty much the same. It started off, it was positive, went down, and now is working on rising again. The little carpet here is a combination of red and green. Most of the green ones are the bigger companies like NVIDIA and Amazon and Tesla, Google, and so on. So one of the things that we've talked about before that I wanted to discuss and show you, let's see if I can get it up here. Well, maybe it's up already. This is the Dow. INDU. This is the Dow. This is a stock chart. And this we have set at a monthly chart. That means each one of these little candles here is a month. And so when you look at that, you can see there was a lot of months here where it rose and rose and rose. Then it kind of flattened out. And now we have a red candle. This month is down. And it's down 1,400 points for so far this month. You can tell by the wick that it was lower earlier in this week or in last week, but it has risen a little bit. And when we looked at this before, last week, when we come down here, this PPO, percentage price oscillator, it is a very easy indicator to read and know. If the black line's above the red line, it's bullish. If it is down below the red line, it is bearish. And we can see that this is pressing into the red line. When we looked at it last week, just the first week of the month, and we were at that bigger drop, this had crossed down, and this was a negative number by just a little bit. And you can see this little blue block, you can hardly see it right there. It is sitting on the line. It's almost flat like the line. But when we looked at it last week, last Monday, it was just barely below the line, and this was a negative number. Now it has, with the moves like yesterday, at the end of the day, it has scooted up just a little bit to be a positive number. So it's going to be interesting. By the end of the month, we have a couple weeks yet to go. And with things like this conflict and other economic issues going on, are they going to lower interest rates and so on? To see if in the end, if at the end of the month, if this has remained above the red line and maybe is just, flattening out and testing a little bit and then going to have a bounce up and go back up again? Or is this going to cross down and be the end of this bullish add-on pattern? I think we've talked about this before. I'm going to scoot down just a little bit. But you can see here, this was bullish. Black line above the red line on the PPO. Green line on top. Rising ADX. That is the strength stage of the P3 pattern. Then it ended, and a P3.5 pattern started with the PPO crossed down. The red line crossed up, but it never really got above the black line. It started rising, the green line started dropping, and got, up here close. And then it started weakening. And as that weakening happened, then the green line started heading up and crossed over. And when it crossed and got up over here, that is where the PPO line crossed back up again. But despite the fact that this is a bullish add-on strength stage, if you look, it matches this, meaning PPO is up, green lines on top, rising ADX. But these little blue blocks that you can see here didn't have a whole lot of strength. And now it has sort of looked like it's weakening and maybe is going to cross down. You can see the green line here, I should be pointing to this one, is weakening, heading down. The red line is heading up. So is there going to be a new P3.5 pattern? Is that going to happen this month? and we're going to start a new bearish trend. And we could, if we did, there's several on here, but you could have the PPO down, red line on top, rising ADX strength in the drop. Here's a little one, PPO down, red line on top. Kind of happened to two little spurts there, rising and then rising. All of that could happen again. And when you look up here, those were bigger drops. And so is that what's in our future? Is that where we're going, is to have a good sizable pullback? Or is this just a test of the signal line here, and then we're going to have a bounce up? So we'll keep looking, we'll keep watching, we'll stay aware that things look like they're building up for a change, and certainly with all the stuff going on as far as the conflict and so on, stuff is going on. So we will keep watching this. We will keep being careful as far as trades are concerned, and not figure that we're going to get into a trade and be in for weeks and weeks and months or whatever, because we are not in that setting at the moment. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I've been yacky today. I will talk to you next week. Take care.